Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Today we are going to be continuing reading Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by Kay Applegate, and later today I am finally going to see Avengers Endgame, so woo! Happy day! And today's chapter will be from the point of view of Cassie. Yay! Why am I so happy? They're so innocent. Oh, let's continue after that. Ta-da! Zoom! I beat my fly wings and zipped under the door. The bottom edge of the door was like a ceiling to me, and then I was out. Zoom! I flew straight up. I mean, straight up, like a rocket. Cool! I yelled to no one. Zoom! I spun around in midair and hit the ceiling with all 6 feet. The long claws dug into tiny cracks in the ceiling tile. The sticky pads added extra hold. I rested upside down, hanging from the ceiling. Becoming a fly is disgustingly gross, but being a fly is excellent. I mean, nothing flies like a housefly. You can fly straight ahead, or you can suddenly shoot up, or you can stop and just hover. There is absolutely nothing those fly wings won't do. The best jet fighter, flown by the greatest pilot ever, is a big, slow, wallowing pig compared to a housefly. Tobias, on his best day, couldn't come close to the maneuvers a fly can do. I rested on the ceiling, directly above Chapman's head. It was maybe 5 feet from me, down to his balding head. At least I think it was him. Fly eyesight is hard to get used to. Very hard to get used to. Fortunately, he, or at least the guy I hoped was Chapman, had stepped in some dog do earlier. I wasn't sure of my weird compound eyesight, but nothing can smell poop like a fly. I was locked onto the location of Chapman's shoe. There was just one problem. Chapman wasn't doing anything but looking at books. My fly brain got edgy just staying in one place, so I dropped from the ceiling, pivoted in midair, fired up my wings, and took a quick, wild ride around his head. Yes, it was Chapman, almost for sure. For the next 20 minutes, I just stalked him on his slow progress through the bookstore. I zipped around him, always staying out of reach, occasionally resting on the spine of a book or rocketing back up to the ceiling. After 20 minutes or so, it was all starting to look like a pretty stupid idea. I was supposed to be looking for Rachel, who might be in some kind of trouble. And instead, I was staring upside down at Chapman's scalp. Then, yes! A man and a woman were talking to Chapman. Understanding speech is difficult with the hearing flies have available. Fortunately, I had been a fly before, so I knew how to translate the vibrations the fly felt into sound. "You're late," Chapman snapped. The man said, "It couldn't be helped. Our job isn't easy with all this going on." "Not here," Chapman said. "Walk with me." He walked away, and the Two newcomers fell into step alongside him. I dropped from the ceiling and buzzed quickly after them. It was easy to keep up. I just kept Chapman's head a few feet in front of me. What was hard was hearing everything they said. Out in the mall itself, there was a din of noise. Dozens of voices, music, footsteps. It was all vibrations to my antennae and hairs. To make sense of it, I had to take a risk. I shot forward at full speed, pivoted sideways, and landed on Chapman's collar. The threads of his shirt fabric looked as big as ropes to me. It was easy to hold on, but I kept my fly instincts hyper alert in case some big human hand came reaching to swat me. I don't see why we're meeting like this, the woman said. It's a little melodramatic, isn't it? Like some stupid human spy novel. Vischer 3 does not trust our communications lately. Vischer 1 has supporters among some of our people here. Don't forget, our leader trapped these Andalites once before, and they were freed by Vischer 1 to embarrass us. Has that been proven? The man asked. Chapman snorted derisively. If it had been proven, Vischer 1 would be screaming in the torture chambers of the Council 13. But we know it just the same. Vischer 3 isn't going to let anything get in the way this time. This new creature of his, this Velik, will finish the terrorists once and for all. Velik, I thought. The enemy had a name. And make a huge mess doing it, the woman grumbled. I've been running around all day, trying to keep this story covered up. That's why you've been placed on the police force, Chapman said coldly. It's your job to control police investigations that could be difficult for us. There's only one of me, the woman said, not intimidated at all by Chapman's tone. 10% of the police force are our people, but that leaves 19% who are human. And the humans are not complete idiots. We have witnesses talking about monsters made of dust, not tornadoes. It's the same as the newspaper, the man said. So far, this story is under control. People believe the tornado nonsense. But you have to tell Vischer 3 to... Suddenly, I was swung wildly around. I released the collar and flew upward. Chapman had stopped, jerked around, and grabbed the man's arm. Chapman had his face an inch from the man's face. Tell Vischer 3? Tell Vischer 3? No one tells Vischer 3. People who tell the Vischer something he doesn't want to hear end up cut off from the Kandrona rays, slowly starving, dying inside their hosts. With a rationing of Kandrona rays since the bandits destroyed the Earth-based Kandrona, the Vischer has been looking for excuses to eliminate hungry Yeerks. Now, if you want to go tell the Vischer not to use his Velik, you go right ahead. He released the man and they all started walking again. Velik, the woman grumbled. Do we have to rely on such things to track down a handful of Andalite terrorists? Yes, Chapman said. And be glad the Vischer has his morph hunter. It distracts him from asking why you haven't caught the Andalites. You'd better hope this dust creature succeeds. The pressure's building on the Visher to clean up this mess on Earth. There is talk he may be demoted to Visher 4, even 5. If Visher 3 loses rank because of your failure, take my advice. Kill yourselves. Don't wait for the Visher to do it for you. The two newcomers fell silent after that. Chapman gave them some instructions, mostly to just stick to the tornado story, no matter what happened. He told them humans were fools who would believe any sort of nonsense. And if any witnesses became too troublesome, they should be eliminated or made into controllers. It was a chilling conversation to hear, and there was nothing in it about Rachel. But just the same, I had learned something important. The Velik was a tool of Visher 3's. They had called it a morph hunter. It was time to head back to the little bathroom and demorph. I needed to talk to Jake and the others immediately. Morph hunter. It had struck Marco and Axe when they were demorphing in the basement of Darlene's house. It almost killed them. Had it succeeded with Rachel? And that's it for that happy, lovely chapter. I'm always... hang on a sec. Because I want to get a bunch of stuff done around the house before going to see a movie that late this evening that's going to be like 3 hours long. I hadn't even completed my tea before I started recording. Anyways, I love when they're talking about fly morphs. It's always like, becoming a fly is so fucking disgusting. But being a fly, yo, that's where it's at. And a little stab at Tobias, like, Tobias may think he's a great flyer, but he's never been a fly, so I don't know. It's one of the little bits of the books that I find heartwarming. I guess that's the way to describe it. It's great. It's like, yay! And I like this chapter. It's giving us the information that Axe found out last time. But I find it important for this chapter because they shouldn't have to depend on Axe to tell them information. You know, they shouldn't have to depend on only one other character who's trapped at the moment. So maybe it is a little repetitive, but it's allowing all characters except Rachel to get on the same page of what's going on. It also shows two different perspectives also, which also lends it to be not really that repetitive, because it's really two different viewpoints. You have Visher 3's viewpoint of, this is fucking awesome, this is going to be great, down Andalites, fuck you Andalites. And then from the viewpoint of, the Visher's underlings. Now Chapman is pretty high ranking for a controller, but still he's an underling of Visher 3, and you get to see the common Yerks, what the common Yerk thinks about the whole incident. They're like, this is a bunch of fucking bullshit. This is so hard to deal with. So it's like, it's like, I guess, it's like seeing the perspective of a student and a teacher. It's like anything going on in the classroom, there's going to be like the students that are learning and the teacher that's trying to keep everything under control. So I do like the different viewpoints. So yes, I have two different drinks in front of me. One drink that's cool and one drink that's mild. Anyways. what do you think about this chapter? Do you find this repetitive, or do you think that since it's from a different viewpoint, we're getting a different viewpoint of the Yeerk hierarchy, that it's actually interesting? And what do you think about the fly morph as described in the series? Would you like to be a fly? If you had morphing powers, would you like just acquire a fly and just like, holy shit, this is actually fucking awesome? No, morph it. Comment down below and any other thoughts you have about this chapter. Now, remember, no major spoilers. I am hoping against hope that some people will be viewing these videos and be like, hey, Animorphs seems awesome, and I convert people to Animorphs. And so, yeah. So I don't want any of the major twists and turns spoiled before they happen. But if you do want to talk and more spoilers to me and you're watching on the YouTubes, link in the description to my Tumblr Ask Box. There you can just talk theories, just general thoughts about the series, have fun there. And hey, if you are a newcomer to the series, welcome, my new Phantomorph. We do not have cookies here, but we do have cinnamon buns, humanity's greatest creation. And hey, if you've watched this video and you're like, hey, Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by K. Applegate sounds sort of awesome. I like to own my own copy. If you are watching on the YouTube's link in the description. If you're watching on my bloggity blog, link down below. And yeah, if you're watching, okay, I covered the bloggity blog. And with those links, you can buy your very own copy of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by K. Applegate. And if you buy from those links, not only will you be supporting the creators, but you will also be supporting me at the same time, and not just for these Animorphs dramatic readings, but my blog as a whole, which includes a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah. And if you're watching on the YouTubes, please like this video for how awesome the fly morph is described. And remember, I am going to be doing a dramatic reading of the entire Animorphs series. So if you never, ever want to miss out on any of my Animorphs content, please subscribe. And if you're watching on my bloggity blog and watching on the desktop version of my bloggity blog, please choose the follow by email option so you will never again miss out on another of my blog posts. And not only do I do these awesome Jash reads, I have little fanfics, I have long posts, I have reviews, a bunch of stuff's going on. And yeah. And the next episode of Jash Reads will be coming out sometime after I come back from Avengers Infinity War. And yeah. And I would be doing those little sort of after show for a graphic because I do have an idea. But as I said before, I do have some things in the house I want to get done, some other projects. So yeah, we'll start working on that graphic later. Maybe, hopefully, because I do have an idea. Like, I've decided that if I don't have a good idea, I'm just not going to do the after show part because it's like, here's a little bit of shit. Okay. Again, the next episode of Jash Reads will be more of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift, and will be airing sometime after I get back from Avengers, not Infinity War, goddammit, from Avengers Endgame. And I will not give spoilers, because I've been I've nearly avoided every spoiler, but I get to these little bits and pieces where, unfortunately, my mind can put things together really nicely. And I'm like, shit. It's like someone drew this one picture. They didn't. It wasn't spoilery at all, but then they just captioned it with something like, "Oh shit." I'm like, I know exactly why you'd be saying that. Again, next episode, Jash reads, will be more of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite Gift by Kay Applegate, and will air later tonight. And until next video, stay safe.